Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be telling you all about Michelle and what she did to deal with her friendship groups, her loneliness and her isolation when she stopped drinking, and how she's doing right now. I'm going to be giving you a couple of tips on how to deal with your friendship groups and any peer pressure you might be facing. And I'm also going to share with you how my relationship with my brother has developed since I've been sober. Because in the old days, my relationship with my brother was a heavy drinking relationship. So last week, I introduced you to Michelle. And I told you about the challenges she faced when she stopped drinking were that she was hanging around with a group of heavy drinkers. She was heavy drinking herself. She referred to them as her pisshead friends. And she was also drinking heavily on her own when she was at home because she was trying to escape the loneliness and isolation she was experiencing as a single mother with a young child. So the first thing Michelle did, because she was worried, she wanted to stop drinking, but she was worried about feeling isolated and feeling lonely and being unsupported, the first thing she did was she emailed me and asked me if I could give her the kind of support that she wanted. And of course I said yes. And we've been in almost daily contact ever since. She's been messaging me and emailing me on an almost daily basis. Of course, as she's grown in confidence with living life sober, she's needed to contact me less and less. So that's kind of tapering off more now. So that way, she got the kind of support, encouragement, contact and motivation that she needed. She knew she needed some kind of support to help her in the early days of stopping drinking. The second thing she did, because she only had really 2 or 3 close friends who weren't her drinking buddies. So she wanted to keep her close friends close because they were healthy, supportive friendships that she had. But the group of people that she was associating with when she was going out to the pubs and getting wasted, the people she referred to as her pisshead friends, she simply ditched them. She simply stopped going out with them. She simply came up with a load of excuses as to why she couldn't go out that particular evening, and she basically ditched them because she knew she wasn't going to be strong enough when she first stopped drinking to be able to deal with the kind of pressure that they would put her under. She also knew she didn't really have anything in common with any of them. She didn't particularly like them. She wasn't close to any of them. They were just her drinking buddies. So she decided she'd be better off and it would be easier for her to ditch those friends. So that was the second thing she did. The third thing she did was she started to tackle her massive, great long to-do list. Over the years that she'd been drinking heavily, she had amassed a list of all the things she wanted to get done around the house and home, things she needed to sort out, things that she'd never got round to tackling when she was drinking because the alcohol, the hangovers, the drinking was the priority, and she never quite got round to doing all of the things on her to-do list. So she decided that instead of going out with her pisshead friends, instead of sitting at home alone with a bottle of wine, she was going to start tackling her to-do list. And every time she felt tempted to drink or she felt challenged, she chose something on her to-do list instead. And of course, what's happened now is she's actually, over a 4-month period that she's been sober, she's now tackled everything on that to-do list. It's all been ticked off and she's been feeling great. She's actually living in what could resemble a show home because she's gradually worked her way through the house, doing bits and bobs on her list, tackling all the DIY jobs she hadn't been able to do before, and her home is looking fabulous because she's managed to sort it all out. She's done her stairs, she's done her bathroom, she's done her lounge, she's got new carpets. All of the money that she was spending on drinking, she's actually spent on her house and home. And she's feeling fantastic because she feels in control. The third thing that Michelle did was she joined a yoga class. She knew she needed a way of kind of grounding herself, of making sure she looked after herself and that she was kind to herself, and also that she got some kind of interaction and contact with other people, because of course in ditching all of her drinking buddies, she needed to find some kind of contact with other people that she could replace that with. So she joined a yoga class and she's been doing lots of the audios in the Go Get Sober program. She's been doing those at home on her own, and she's been doing some meditation at home on her own as well. So all of that has been another healthy and self-nurturing activity that she's been able to do to help herself feel better about herself and to distract her from any temptation to drink. The fourth thing that Michelle did was she joined a running group. So after a couple of months of being sober and growing in confidence, she decided that she needed some more adult interaction. And she needed to kind of surround herself with more like-minded people and build a different type of friendship group around herself. So she's joined a running group. And of course, with all of the running that she's been doing, the yoga that she's been doing, and the fact that she's stopped drinking and she's been eating more healthily, she's been losing a lot of weight. So the other thing she's been spending her money on, that she's been saving from not drinking, is she's been buying herself clothes. Every few months or so, she decides she's going to reward herself by buying some new clothes. And because she's slimming down, she's feeling great about herself. She's enjoying buying clothes for herself. So the first thing Michelle did was to contact me to get support and to combat any isolation and loneliness she might be feeling. The second thing that she did was to ditch the friendship group that she knew was going to be hard work for her, that she knew was going to make life difficult for her. The third thing that she did was to tackle her to-do list in place of reaching for the bottle. The fourth thing that she did was to join a yoga group, and finally she joined a running group to get herself really fit, really healthy and trim enough to fit into all the new clothes she wanted to buy for herself. So, tips for you on how to deal with friendships and any kind of peer pressure that you might be facing when you stop drinking. If a large proportion of your friendship group are drinking buddies, and if that's all you ever do together, if your life with your friendship group is built around drinking alcohol and you want to stop drinking, really that's a tough challenge for you to face. So unless you're feeling really strong, it's a good idea to actually ditch those friendships that are built on a relationship with alcohol. The second tip I've got for you is that if you're surrounded by only a few people where your life is built around drinking alcohol, or if you have a larger friendship group and it's only some of the time that you actually do things that are based on alcohol, so maybe it's a weekend evening, or maybe it's evenings, maybe it's weekends that you're actually doing your drinking activities with your social circle, actually what you can do is change those activities, or you can actually come up with a list of explanations and reasons why you're not going to be joining in or why you're not going to be drinking. And you can actually practice and rehearse what you're going to say in advance so that you can feel really confident with how you're explaining yourself to your friends. I'm going to be giving you more tips about that in next week's video. The other thing that I wanted to quickly share with you was my own relationship with my brother, because that was one of the biggest pressures I faced when I stopped drinking. My brother and I had built our relationship around drinking. We used to get drunk together, we used to commiserate with our hangovers together, we used to take care of the dog together. Our whole relationship, although we didn't see each other very often, was built around drinking. So the first time he came to visit me, once I'd got sober, was a real challenge for me. And the way I coped with that was I actually mentally rehearsed. I imagined what I was going to be doing differently, what soft drink I was going to order at the bar when we went to the pub, what I was going to say to him about why I wasn't drinking. I needed to mentally practice and rehearse all of that so that when I actually met with him the first time, I felt confident and relaxed about what I was going to say and how I was going to handle it. And of course, after that first time, each time I met with him subsequently, I needed to practice doing things differently. I needed to practice doing things sober. And having done that quite a lot of times since then, we now have a fantastic relationship. When we get together now, it's not based around drinking at all. We have lots of adventures together. We do lots of fun activities together. We've had 2 week-long holidays this year so far together, where we've gone segwaying in Malaga in Spain. We've gone kayaking across lakes. We've gone hiking through mountains together and seen some fantastic views and spectacular scenery. We get really active now when we're together, and we do all sorts of different things together, as well as just chilling, relaxing and having some downtime together. My brother still drinks when he's around me, but interestingly, he drinks an awful lot less than he used to. So I stay sober. He might sometimes have a drink or two, or he might not. but the whole basis of our relationship has changed. And it's really interesting that this can happen when you stop drinking and you get together with people with whom you ordinarily used to reach for a bottle, or your life used to revolve around alcohol. You can actually sometimes find that you're an influence on them, and that they start to change their own relationship with alcohol because you're kind of inspiring them. So in next week's video, I'm going to be giving you some tips on the kind of things, the kind of explanations and excuses you can give to your friends when you first stop drinking to help you feel really confident about how you're going to handle those social situations. If you want more tips, inspiration, advice on living life happily and healthily sober, you can subscribe to my channel. I'll look forward to catching up with you next time, but in the meantime, let's go get sober together.